Some issues pertinent to the discipline of urban planning never seem to go away. Well over a century since early planning pioneers sought to mitigate some of the negative effects of urban living, planners today continue to struggle with such crucial tasks as reducing urban poverty, removing urban pollution, and improving the health, safety, morals, and welfare of the urban population. This has proven to be a momentous challenge, as planners have historically struggled to garner the knowledge, political support, community backing, and financial assistance necessary to tackle all these urban problems. Understandably, many within and external to the planning community have questioned whether or not such tasks are feasible and have developed alternatives to the traditional city life. Ebenezer Howard was one such critic.
The Industrial Revolution in the mid 1800s led to uncontrolled growth and congestion due to overcrowding, which caused deterioration to the city. Migrants moved from countryside, small towns became large cities, more people started living in cities than in rural areas. Industrial revolution stimulated new industries that led to concentration of factories and workers together. The working class and neighborhoods became bleak, crowded, dirty, and polluted. It was in response to the need for improvement of urban life, Sir Ebenezer Howard, an official parliamentary reporter, came up with a design of his ideal city. Thus started the Garden City movement in 1898. Garden cities were to be built with proper planning, self-contained communities surrounded by green belts with proportionate areas of residences, agriculture, and industries. His idea behind the ideal city was to design a combined town and country so as to give the working class an alternative to improve their living conditions. Howard's ideal city would have a garden in the center of the city, ringed with civic and cultural complex, including City Hall, a concert hall, a museum, theaters, libraries, and hospitals. 6 broad avenues would radiate from the center and traffic would move along the avenues.
Though Howard's concept of the Garden City never took off in large scale, his concepts have had a powerful impact on the planning discipline. Howard was an unapologetic decentralist, believing that the incredibly dense cities of the 19th century were detrimental to the residents' health. In an attempt to decentralize the inner city, Howard created the town-country concept, limiting the number of residents of a town-country to just 32,000 people on a 6,000-acre plot. This concept of low-density living can be seen in the rapid suburbanization of the 20th century, though it should be stated that the suburbanization of the 20th century was by no means a direct model to Howard's plan. Howard's Garden City was to be self-sustaining, economically independent, and encourage sociable living, all of which modern suburbs do not provide. His work on the benefits of low-density living nonetheless attracted people to the suburban lifestyle. Howard's concept of the Garden City has directly influenced the concept of regional planning. Regional planning is planning for an area larger than the city. It is planning for the surrounding farmland and countryside to ensure that these resources are not only protected, but are being utilized to keep the region as self-sufficient as possible. It is also planning that involves extensive land use principles to ensure that development does not occur in areas that reduce resiliency. It is easy to see Howard's influence on this planning theory. The Garden City was the prototype of regional planning. It sought to control what development can go where while simultaneously protecting the outlying farmland and green spaces for community independence and enjoyment. Under Howard's plan, communities were to be self-sufficient, green, and resilient, all principles of regional planning. The Garden Cities also had much influence on the development of new urbanism in the 1980s. Some common features of both garden cities and new urbanism include an emphasis on a centralized downtown area that is within walking distance for most people, an emphasis on plentiful green space within the urban area, pedestrian-centric roadways and sidewalks, and a commitment to the community. These ideas emphasize the importance of open space, greenery, and self-sufficient communities that rarely need to travel outside their neighborhoods for shopping, employment, and public works. Despite the limited number of successful garden cities in existence today, Howard's philosophies remain influential throughout the field of planning as inspirational ideas in tackling unhealthy urban environments, unsustainable sprawl, and community apathy.
Urban planners of today owe much depth to the garden city concept. Developed in an era in which the idea of a professional discipline dedicated to improving cities and the lives of those that live in them was just starting to catch fire, utopians such as Howard helped establish planning as a legitimate enterprise. By analyzing factors which cause mankind harm, such as pollution, overcrowding, poor housing, and a lack of green space, early planning pioneers such as Howard was able to identify possible solutions to the severe urban problems plaguing the 19th and 20th century cities. In this light, planners may well have never existed if it were not for the efforts of early utopian ideas such as the Garden City. There are, however, more concrete implications for planners. One of the key insights that can be accredited to the development of the Garden City was that it emphasized the importance of green space within urban areas. Adding flora to an urban environment has been proven to have several benefits, including fresher air, a lessening of the heat island effect, promoting a more active lifestyle, improving mental health, and reducing the likelihood of flooding, among others. Community building is another great lesson modern planners can take from garden cities. The Garden City was to instill a sense of community within its residents, as the community was to have civic centers, walkable parks, and be self-sufficient, lowering the need for traveling outside the city. Having a strong sense of community can aid communities in times of crisis, lower crime rates, lower environmental impacts such as littering, and an increase in happiness among the residents.
While the number of garden cities being produced in the 21st century is by no means equivalent to the number of suburban neighborhoods being developed, the concept has had a lasting impression on the discipline. From greenbelt to new urbanism, community bonds to regional planning, the concepts that underlie the garden city can be found throughout planning. Therefore, it is vital that planners not forget the great lessons this utopian concept can give to the profession.